This is the ModPod, brought to you by Modality, helping businesses optimize their Microsoft technologies everywhere.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the ModPod, and today we are joined by Georgina Rollins, who is head of partner and alliances, and Rick Eveleigh, who is one of our managing consultants. And today we are going to talk about what is important when you're looking for a Microsoft partner and how do you choose a good one. Right, so today's topic is all about Microsoft partnerships. It's coming up for the Microsoft Partner of the Year. Microsoft are obviously saying an awful lot of things about it, and it means an awful lot to a number of partners. So the question really is, there are lots of Microsoft partners out there. If you are a customer, how do you work out which are the good ones, which are the ones that are maybe just collecting badges? Who's experienced, who's not? What should a good Microsoft partner do? How do they differentiate themselves? George, what would you, as a partner manager and as our Microsoft guru, what are some of the things that you think partners should be doing?
What partners should be doing? Very much making sure that you've got the badges, because that does show the customer that you have the skills and the competencies in order to deliver certain solutions. So Microsoft will give partners what's known as competencies, and there are varying levels of competencies. You have silver competencies and you have gold competencies. Now, the difference between them is usually the amount of MCPs you have, how much cloud active usage you're driving, and depending on the different technology, there is different competencies for those. So there's a cloud productivity one, there's a communications one, there's a meetings one, there's quite a few, data center and things like that. So really it's about understanding that Microsoft's partner skills, and that's leveled by competencies. It's also, Microsoft have recently launched advanced specializations, and advanced specializations are really looking at the in-depth skills that particular partner has. So you've got things like calling and meetings, you've got user adoption ones. So have a look at what competencies and what advanced specializations a partner actually has.
I'm going to ask you a few questions that are from my background, where obviously I work now for Modality, and previously I've been an internal IT manager, so I might have had to look for a partner. But also I was Microsoft practice lead at a smaller partnership. So with badges, it's interesting because you said look for people with badges because that shows they can do what they say. What protection is there, and what evidence can partners show that it isn't that they've got badges because they've just got some people who are good at passing exams?
That's very true, and funny you actually say that. Years and years ago, I got my, not being a technical person myself, got my MCP in Windows NT workstation, which is really showing my age.
Actually, I've got a good one you could work on if that's all right.
Thanks. And literally, I was working for a training company back then, and we were taught to pass that exam. Don't ask me to do anything from Windows NT workstation. So what you're saying there certainly does have some merit associated to it. Yeah, some of the badges do mean to say you've got lots of clever people who have passed all of the exams and so forth. But I think what's really, really important also when customers are looking for a partner is to also speak to Microsoft. Microsoft will usually recommend, they usually on average recommend 3 partners, so you can have a look at it that way. But also, you know, look at a partner's website, see what customer case studies they've got, ask that partner to speak to customers about the work they've done. You know, all of this stuff about really looking at what a partner can actually deliver on is really important too.
And you also said about cloud usage I think that's probably a newer thing than my experience when I actually was looking after the partnership at my previous company, which is 6 years ago. What's that? Is that a nice protection or extra thing that Microsoft have put in to show that a partner is worth their salt?
It's Microsoft put it in to basically show what business, what licensing, what is your usage. So you've got your Microsoft active usage, which looks at your different workloads like Teams. It looks at SharePoint. It looks at Yammer. It looks at all of those different workloads that sit within Microsoft 365. And then you've obviously got your Azure consumption, which is known as Azure consumed revenue. And that is actually linked to a partner by a number of different ways. So a while back, they used to have what was known as digital partner of record, which partners like us that were quite specialist in what we did found it really, really hard to get, because that was linked within a customer's tenant to one partner. So one partner could claim digital partner of record for a license. Okay. What Microsoft
I remember that, because we sometimes couldn't get it, could we? We do some really good work.
Yeah,
and then we couldn't be the digital partner of record because someone else already was.
Yeah. Poor the ears of my dear friends at Microsoft certainly, got their ear chewed off with me about it, because it was almost impossible to get. And then you needed it for your competencies, for your advanced specializations and stuff like this. So it actually kind of turned into a bit of a partner war. What Microsoft have now done is they have listened to their partners, and what they do is they do it by what's known as competency partner of record, which looks at the actual workload that your customer is driving. And like even Teams now is broken down into Teams collaboration, Teams meetings, Teams phone system. It's actually broken down into the different elements of it. So you can actually say, right, with this customer, I'm driving this. And then you have to prove to Microsoft that you are actually driving that particular workload with that customer. And that can either be through fast track, or that can be through a project that you're delivering.
So that consumed revenue and the active usage, you say it's tied to the partner. Is that something a customer can get a visibility of when they're choosing a partner?
What will happen is when a partner applies for that workload, a customer will get an email from Microsoft. So when a partner applies for that, you'll usually find that customer will actually receive an email to say, please let us know if you're not working with this partner on this particular workload, of which they can reply and go, nope, never heard of them, or yes.
Yeah, no, sorry. What I was thinking was, if you're choosing a partner, can you get any way of saying, well, actually, I'm going to go and deal with Modality because they've got X million active users?
Customers can't actually see that. No. If I publish,
does it feed into our competencies? So we're gold for this because we've got X number of people with a Microsoft certified professional in that area, and we've got Y number of credits, whatever it is called. Sorry, I forgot the term already.
100%, yeah. So that will then feed. So those that both the advanced specializations and the competencies will look at that active usage, and you won't get over that. If you haven't gone over the threshold, you won't get
competency.
The accreditation against you.
So we're saying now that competencies are much more valuable as an indication to customers, because back when I was doing it,
how many customers you have? Yes.
Oh yeah.
So back when I was doing it, you could lob Microsoft some money and get a couple of your guys, as I did, to pass some exams. And we did actually know what we were doing, but a couple of people, and then you'd have a silver badge, which was great.
Yeah.
But then there'd be thousands of other companies with a silver badge as well.
Yeah, well, there was a load of, there was a period, and one of the organisations I worked for, were literally just lobbing exams at people and said, just pass it, just pass it, just pass it. I didn't have the experience in there. But I think the exams have changed as well now, haven't they? They're much more
they get updated.
Appropriate.
Yeah, they get updated quite a lot. I must admit, I haven't personally taken one for since my NT one. But
so maybe it's time to update your NT one.
Maybe not. Customers do not want me playing around with their environments. But it's. I've lost my train of thought where I was going here.
That's all right. Doesn't matter. So So are the we talk about the accreditations. That's obviously a sort of fairly firm foundation. You've then got the advanced specializations. Is it kind of like it's not a gold, silver and bronze, because you have the silver and gold partnerships, but is it kind of like a tiered system? The more of these things you get.
Well, they really do. I personally think the advanced specializations are almost overtaking the competencies, if I'm honest. That's almost what it feels like. Microsoft in the last year have put a real focus on the advanced specializations, and they go down to more the specific projects that you would have running within a customer. So identity and access management, meetings and meetings rooms. You've also got threat protection. They're broken down into more of the project and the technology based stuff. And what you have to do in order to attain those is you have to also, pass certain exams and certain criteria, but you also need to have customer stories associated with them. So it's like, right, I need my cloud productivity competency with that, with all of the associated exams, but it's also asking for people to pass additional assessments and also submit customer references.
So here's a slightly different question. If you've got Microsoft 365, so we say we are a Microsoft 365 partner, we do pretty much all of the except the Dynamics type areas. That's quite wide ranging. So if you look at the competencies and the specialisms, you need quite a few people to have taken exams and the right exams, etc. So are there going to be partners out there who don't have sufficient consultants and engineers to sit these exams, who won't actually achieve or attain the M365 accreditations because they just by default end up needing a certain amount of people?
Potentially, if they're really small, yes. Usually the competencies require up to about 4 MCPs associated with them, needing different qualifications. In fact, if anything, they need the proper certifications, which a certification can have up to 5 different MCP exams in it. So it's quite a lot of commitment for a technical person to actually put in. So that's quite important to remember there, that there is a lot of work and a lot of training, a lot of exams that need to be passed to actually get these competencies. So a lot more than they're ever needed to probably 10, 15 years ago.
So Rick, with the exams, so I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate here. How do the consultants generally feel about having to sit these exams in around their jobs, and maybe being asked to obviously take multiple ones?
I was going to say I can't speak on behalf, but that is my job in this pod to speak on behalf. So I'm going to put words into the mouths of anonymous of our consultants. One of the fortunate things for Modality is that we have got a lot of good consultants, and some of them are really good at and enjoy studying for and taking exams, and some don't so much. But we've got, fortunately, enough consultants across our consulting team, but also clever people across our other teams in managed services, that we can cover the requirements that we need from people who actually do enjoy studying for and taking exams. The reason I was hedging around and saying I don't want to put words into other people's mouths is I haven't taken an exam for 6 years, so they may not, because I have, and this is actually for me a Modality. It's a bit of an advert for our company, because I haven't needed to, because we have got other consultants, and also we've got our MVPs, Microsoft Most Valued Professional people as well, our kind of flagship clever guys, who cover a lot of those bases. So when we've got a need for, George typically looking for us to attain a new competency, the right word, isn't it? she will often put out a call to all the tech people across the company and just say, oh, I need 2 or 4, whatever the requirement is, people to have a look at and pass exam X. And we will usually get people who will reply, and I think they enjoy attaining those extra badges because it is good for them as well. It's a marketable thing.
Well, it's not going to harm their CVs, is it?
No,
So.
It stays with the consultant. It doesn't stay.
It stays with the consultants who move across. That's right. And we want to have people who are experienced at those things, not just badge chasers, so that we can deliver on those skills. What I found personally, when I did have to do exams in my previous company, we were a smaller, so I had to muck in and make sure I passed them as well. Personally, for me, I already knew how to do the thing I was needing to pass the exam on. So in those days, it was normal link and link voice specialisms, and I would go and book the exam and just give it a go. I wouldn't do any study. I'd just go and try it out, see how close I got, have an idea of which areas I possibly was weaker on, and then I'd go and do some study around the areas I was weaker on, then go and retake. And I got through my exams like that. But other times people will take some time. We'll give people some time to study. We don't usually ask people to do it in their own time. There's resources out there that people have access to that we provide as well. And you can pay for and take Microsoft test exams before you actually go for an exam. So there's a lot of resources. But usually we'll have people who are interested in it anyway, or already have the skills, and then they will study. And a lot of it's down to whether Microsoft are writing the exam in a way that does test real skills. And there's always sometimes some bits you just need to know. Everyone in the techie world has got fun stories from years ago of the workstation exams where you just sit in front of the computer going, why are you asking me that? No one would do that.
Yeah, I remember failing an exam repeatedly, and then somebody just turned around to me and said, yeah, you just need to forget about the reality of what you would do in an engagement and just answer the question. It's
like what I said to you earlier. You can train somebody to answer the exam. Certainly in the old days. I think they certainly have come on a long way now. But there is a certain amount of that. It's just like my kids at school. Mm-hmm. They're taught how to take exams. You know, it's the same kind of thing, isn't it?
They changed some of them to have adaptive ones and ones that are broken down into case studies, and that I think those ones are a lot more useful because they are almost testing your ability as a consultant, whether pre-sales or delivery. And you put a scenario and say, well, how would you achieve this and this and this, and you'll get little sections with 10 or 15 questions in. Those I did one of those years ago for Exchange, and you do feel under a little bit more pressure there because there's a countdown clock on each section, so that can get your heart going a little bit. But it's a bit like doing real world consultancy against the clock, which is a challenge in itself. But coming off the exams and moving back to some things that you were talking about earlier, you can narrow your choice of partner to engage with initially down by some of these methods, using badges, looking at the website, talking to Microsoft, but there's no substitute then for meeting in these days virtually, but ideally in face-to-face with a partner. And for us as partners, actually engaging with customers. And I don't do so much pre-sales now, but I've done pre-sales, and I know obviously Pete, in your role, you've done loads of it. That engagement with a customer where you get to meet face-to-face and make that personal connection. There's no substitute for that. Yes, maybe you could find someone who turns out to be rubbish, but is brilliant with people and makes that great engagement. But I would have thought it's very difficult to bluff your way through a 1 or 2 hour face-to-face. Although I've never had problems with I don't know, I'll find out. If you then don't follow through on I'll find out, you'll get.
Well, I think actually that's quite an important thing, isn't it? Because the stack is actually so wide. I would much rather have the partner say, actually, we've not done that bit before because that's quite specialist, and just be straight rather than give it a punt.
And also be aware, Microsoft really do promote partner to partner. So, very much a partner will have specific skills in a certain area, they won't be so strong in others. So those partners will partner with other partners. So kind of be aware where partnerships sit. You know, we certainly deliver some deployment services for some very large SIs, and we partner with them. So
we're going to do acronym explanation. What's an SI?
System integrator. So your large global system integrators.
He's good. I like it.
Good, isn't it?
I've worked in Microsoft environment for too long.
I would just talk in Microsoft language all day. You won't understand a word I'm saying.
Well, was it Julie that came out with the Microsoft acronym directory, the MAD?
The MAD, yes.
Yeah, I love the fact that it got given
even the
title.
dictionary had it. But what's weird in that dictionary is you've also got an acronym that's in there about 5 times. So even the people in Microsoft can get confused. And I've even said to people in Microsoft, "What does that acronym stand for?" And they're like, "I don't know."
Yeah. And that actually that's another angle is, so you know, anyone who works with you knows how you operate with Microsoft. How important is an organization's relationship with Microsoft? Actually, like a proper relationship versus I've got the exams.
Critical, I think. You know, it's important to work closely with Microsoft, ensuring that you're understanding what they want to do in an account as well, and as they understand what you want to do. So communication with Microsoft is really, really key. Letting them have visibility of the customers that you're working with is really important, because they will support. They will give you the ability to help unblock things for that customer. They will give you the ability to get access things like funding for that customer. So a close relationship with Microsoft is really, really important for a partner.
Okay.
And that's your full-time role with us, isn't it? Pretty much.
There's a hell of a lot of programs as well. There's Partner of the Year awards, which has been taking up a lot of my time over the last month.
Oh, I mean, it's about our relationship with Microsoft is your specialism.
Oh, it's completely
dedicated. Dedicated. And that's how important it is to us.
Yeah, 99% of my time is dedicated to Microsoft, and it's not just my time. You know, I'm not the only person that liaises with Microsoft within the business by a long shot. All of our salespeople are heavily engaged with the account teams within Microsoft. You know, the sellers within Microsoft want to speak to our sellers, so you know they know what's going on in accounts. They can share information and so forth. You've also got the technical people. So we're on the technology adoption program for Teams. So we've got a raft of our consultants who are involved in that program, looking at new technologies that are coming into market with Microsoft, you know, not so much technologies, but new features within Teams, for example. And we get to view those, to look at those and see how we can support our customers with those as well. And those technical consultants have those relationships. And then you've got our MVPs who do a lot of events for Microsoft and so forth. So our whole business is completely embedded in with Microsoft.
And how is Microsoft's view of our healthy independence from them? Because we do have to, and we're at the coalface on this, the consultant there, we do have to represent the truth to customers and make sure that we're offering the right thing. And when I think Teams is a lot better state now, but let's maybe roll back maybe only a year, but definitely 2, where Microsoft were very much saying a very senior level, oh, it's ready, and we were going, yeah, no, it's not really. How does that go down with your role?
It can be challenging at times, but this is what's important. And you know, one thing that I'm really, really strong on with the entire team is it's all about communication. And this is why I say you've got to work with the account teams. You know, it's important for not just you to get on a call with a TAM, for example, but it's important to make sure a technical. You're going to ask me every single one, aren't you, Rick?
Yes, I don't know what they are myself some of the time. I did know that one, but
but it's, you know, it's really, really important to kind of make sure that the entire account team is involved, because when it goes into project, there's going to be a different set of technical people that you're going to liaise with. So it's about building up trust. It's about having that communication that, you know, we're advising this customer to go down this route because. So it's really, really important to just have that open, honest relationship, because after all, Microsoft want the same as us, a happy customer that's using Microsoft technology.
Cool. And what go on. I mean, I think we probably all have viewpoints on this, but what are the real big no-nos that a partner should absolutely not do?
Microsoft, can I have some leads, please? And you'll never get spoken to again. You know, it's a relationship. It's a partnership. It's not one way. So, you know, you need to be giving something to Microsoft. You need to be building up trust. You need to, you know, work with Microsoft. It's a partnership. So no, don't go in there and ask for leads, because you won't get any.
Fair enough.
I think from a customer point of view, from when I was an end user, but also as a partner sitting in front of customers, following through on what you say. And I've said before, if it's I don't know, I'll find out. Don't bluff. Just say I don't know, I'll find out, and find out. Make sure I follow up. I think the other key thing that is important to me, from both ways, is yes, the initial meeting is important, but the quality of the proposal that you write or any written follow-up is really important as well. If you meet someone you think is great, and then what they produce is badly written, you're